And for this amazing run, we also have some amazing commentary joining us. Would you two like to introduce yourselves before we get the run started?
Absolutely. Hello, English Restream. My name is Quacksilver, and I'll be one of two people keeping you company for Sa wa Yoshi's any percent one-handed run of Celeste. And I am joined...
Hello. My name is BD. I will also be joining you for Sa wa Yoshi's any percent one-handed run of Celeste. I am really excited for this. If you've never seen Sa wa Yoshi play Celeste before, goodness, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, and Sawa, of course, no stranger to the marathon circuit with this very game and category, having run it at a couple of English-speaking marathons in the past, so very excited to see it here on the RTA in Japan stage.
I was very excited to see this added to the schedule.
It's one of those things where no matter how many times you've seen it, it's always impressive. Always impressive to watch. And I think it's one of those things where I could watch literally anytime it's in a marathon. I will be there to watch Sa wa Yoshi play this. And I'm really excited to be able to do it here. I'm really excited Sa was able to do it for RTA in Japan. And again, if y'all haven't seen this before, buckle up, because it's going to go real fast and it's going to go real hard.
Yeah, and Sawa, of course, has branched out over the course of, I think, almost a year now of submitting one-handed games to marathons and such. I know they also run Hollow Knight one-handed. I think there may be one or two others. But this is, I think, the OG performance, the original crowd pleaser. And I know their PBs for one-handed and two-handed Celeste any percent are within like 30 to 40 seconds of each other and are both extremely impressive times just to begin with. So if you think you will be seeing in any way a compromised showcase of Celeste, no, you will be seeing high-level Celeste, and you will forget that it is one-handed.
You will forget that it is one-handed. We will do our best to remind you over the course of the run that it is a one-handed run, but I promise you, you will forget, as it looks like we're getting ready to get into it.
And of course, the iconic Sa wa Yoshi spiel.
The most powerful spiel in existence.
All right. Hello, everyone. 皆さん、おはようございます。RTA in Japan Summer 2025、お楽しみいただけておりますでしょうか。ここからは予定変更して大変ありがたいことにバックアップから採用されましたセレステ 2% をお送りします。そしてさわしです。よろしくお願いいたします。
So I know there was a bid war to name the file, and I will be honest with you, I would love to tell you which one, but I don't know, and even if I did, I don't think I could read it or translate it on the fly.
寄付額投票ビットウォーというものを開催させていただいておりまして、視聴者の皆さんにファイルネームを決めていただきました。その結果、今回はどのような名前になったのでしょうか。確認していきますと、皆さんが、このセーブファイルに与えた名前は
Deleting the Spiel pet file names.
Such a crime against humanity and Spiel dump, but you know, it's for a good cause. We've raised almost over 2.6 million yen for MSF so far, and we're still going.
国境なき医師団に寄付されます。ありがとうございます。というわけで、早速始めていきましょう。3カウントでいきます。3、2、1、GO! Good luck! というわけで、
Good luck, Sawa.
ご存知かと思いますが、インディー2リアクションの金字
So this is Celeste. If you are not familiar with the game, highly recommend you watch it as a casual play and play it yourself. But the speedrun of Celeste is probably one of the more established and more popular speedruns of the past 5-6 years or so. And what we're seeing here is any percent. So we're going to be going through all of the chapters of the base game as fast as possible, starting with the prologue here, and going into City here.
All right, there. Now we have the camera properly up on showing the one-handed glory. You can see Spiel is, of course, an important part of the screen, but only half the screen. And BD, I know you want to talk a little bit about Sala's absurd vines for this challenge run.
This is important. This is important for y'all to know as you're watching this. Here is how Sawa is controlling the game. You can see in the hand cam, Sawa has up, left, right, and down mapped to where their index, their middle finger, and their ring finger are. They have dash and demo dash, which we'll talk about later, bound to their pinky, and they have it double bound so that they have a couple different options they can go with. Jump is controlled on the right alt key, so with their thumb. Grab is controlled with the right control key. Now, if you have a keyboard in front of you, what I want you to do is I want you to take your hand and I want you to try and place that and feel what that feels like. So put your pinky on, say, your backslash key right above your enter key, and put your thumb on your alt key. And now feel where that right control key is. That is how Sawa is playing this, and Sawa is playing Celeste at a super high level with their hand in that position, and they're already done with City. Goodness.
このまま2面に入っていきます。遺跡 Old Site.
So, obviously, the chapters do get longer as we proceed through the game. Forsaken City, just sort of an introduction to basic Celeste mechanics. In Chapter 2 here, Old Site, we're going to add momentarily these dream blocks. Sawa's going to briefly head down here in this ruin, to activate the dream blocks. When you dash into a dream block, your momentum is perfectly carried and you exit out the other side of the dream block. As you can see on this screen.
There's a lot of
go ahead.
No. Yeah, there's a lot of really fun momentum things you can do with dream blocks as you're leaving them. You can do a lot of jumping out of it. You can do zigzagging back and forth as you're seeing Sawa do here. It's a really fun mechanic, and it's kind of a recurring theme where each chapter coming up will have its own set of recurring mechanics that you won't see in many other places until we get to the end, where you get to see it all of it again.
Yeah, and Chapter 2 also introducing us to Battlein, formerly part of me. Battlein chases behind Madeline on a time delay, copying your movements exactly, so no matter how fast Sawa is going, Battlein is always not terribly far behind.
And this is the tricky part of the run, is trying to go fast while also working around the Battlein delays and the time crunches, which I bet you've already forgotten that this is a one-handed run. I'm just going to say that now. There's a very good chance that you have already forgotten that this is a one-handed run, which is, I mean, this is a tricky thing to do for anyone who's playing Celeste. And we're through that room.
途中でジャンプするというものですね。で、このジャンプちょっとだけ遅らせることで、
This is just really high quality Celeste. That just so happens to be played with one hand.
Now Battlein is going to leave us behind. As we get the last section of Chapter 2 is just sort of a straight line dash. Everyone put your tassel wakes in the chat.
起きました。おはようございます。皆さんもね、朝なので、寝ぼけてる方もいると思いますが、もしかしたらそれは魔法かもしれません。というわけで、
Coming up here on the end of Chapter 2, it is really just a straightforward, push to the end. And then we get to start and talk about Chapter 3, Resort, which there's a lot of really fun things. As we get our first steel pet of the run, this is important.
はい、2分23。でクリアです。ここからチャプター3に進んでいきますね。ここも新ギミック出てきます。セレステホテル、Celestial Resort.
Yeah, the Valiant son with a very good point in chat. While Sawa is playing this one-handed, Sawa is also solo calming this for the RTA in Japan stream, which is just absolutely, unbelievably impressive.
So, Chapter 3, Resort introduces perhaps the most divisive mechanic in any video game ever, which is having to think in cycles. You can see already the dust bunnies here moving either up and down or in circles. There are a lot of fun dust bunny patterns that we're going to get exposed to over the course of this chapter. In a few rooms, we're also going to get introduced to these little tendrils that when Sawa makes contact with them, they become a hazard after the fact. So you can only touch tendril-coated surfaces one time.
One of the other unique things about this chapter is there will be forks in the road coming up. So coming up here in a bit, there'll be sort of a series of 3 different paths that Sawa will have to take. And it's routed, but it's also one of those things where you don't have to follow the same route as everyone else does. So it varies the way you interact with the ground and the obstacles you come with, but the route that Sawa is taking is, I think, probably the most established speedrun route. But yeah, we got this big old mess here that we got to clean up.
Some might say a huge mess, even.
Some might actually say it's a huge mess.
But yeah, so the way this checkpoint works in Chapter 3 is we've got to talk to Oshiro and then head down one of the paths. There is, as BD mentioned, an established speedrun path. Each path, at the end of it, you hit a switch and it cleans up part of the mess. So you are actively taking away platforms for future paths that you go down. Very cute little spike jump off of the corner there, which I seem to recall Sawa only has 1 jump bind, so taking hard tech and already making that harder to like hold jump and get an extra jump off the corner of those spikes there, because if you're moving in the same direction as spikes in this game, they don't actually kill you. They're not smart enough to realize that you should be hit by them, which speedrunners abuse to the maximum extent possible.
Yeah. And it's worth pointing out that a lot of two-handed Celeste runners will have multiple jump binds to make some of these tricks easier, and Sawa is doing all of this with 1 jump bind on one hand, which, again, there are some of you that have also already forgotten that this is a one-handed run.
上のダッシュの途中で壁からジャンプすることで
And a large part of the huge mess routing is so that when you exit a particular section of huge mess, Oshiro is right there. So for instance, Sawa just dropped out of that and was able to talk and progress the checkpoint right away. Something else worth mentioning, because Sawa took a death at the start of that room, is for cycle-based rooms, there are actually 2 different cycles that you need to be aware of. The cycle when you first enter the room is not the same cycle that you have if you take a death in the room, because while Madeline is respawning, the cycle is already moving. So sometimes, I don't think we'll see it from Sawa, but sometimes you will see runners, especially as you're learning certain strats, leave a room and then come back to get the entry cycle back for the room. But oftentimes you can just practice strats for the death cycle or just not die, which we're seeing in a staggering number of these rooms.
Ultimately, that is the fastest way to beat Celeste, is to not die. Now, this is not going to be a deathless run, as many are, which I think we're coming up on a new bit of tech here that I think Sawa is going to show off. There's a neat little thing about Celeste where if you crouch dash, Madeline's hurtbox is shorter. So you can do that.
In one. Let's
not even
go, Sawa.
That is a demo dash. You will see, anytime you see Madeline go through a space that looks impossible, it is because that crouch dash mechanic allows you to fit into spaces that are smaller than normal, and some of those holes and some of those spaces in between the dust bunnies, they may not look like there's a gap there, but the game thinks there's a gap there, which means you can get through it if you demo dash through it.
Yep, Madeline's crouching hurtbox is 4 pixels, and a lot of the static hazards in this game, the gaps between them, by good fortune, are exactly 4 pixels wide. And so there's all sorts of opportunities across the total speedrun to fit through some things that should kill the Madeline, but instead do not. And our reward is being chased down by Oshiro here, who is a little bit angry that Sawa is so good at this game with just 1 hand.
angry that Sawa is so good at this game with just one hand.
ここを1回やられるだけで
The difference is I'm not trying to like chase Sawa down yet.
ここまで来れば大丈夫でしょう。はい、というわけでチャプター3終了でございます。
Yeah, 5-minute chapter 3, unreal.
That's so good.
まあいいでしょう。
That is so good, y'all. Give it up.
And a berry for style points.
終了いたしましてチャプター4。
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Celeste, berries are entirely optional collectibles. There are berry runs, so the all red berries run is a separate category, but as you're playing this casually, you'll likely just collect a few as you go. But as we enter Golden Ridge here, you'll see Sawa skipping the vast majority of the berries that they come across.
特に多いです。
Yeah, I think there's like 2 more beyond the 3A1 that speedruns, depending on the strats they use, any percent speedruns will sometimes pick up. Never intentionally, it's not something that is routed for, because you don't need any to beat the game. But sometimes going fast just means incidentally you slam Madeline headfirst into a strawberry along the way.
It just so happens. So this is Ridge. Ridge has a few different things. It has wind, as you may have seen. It has these little cloud platforms that give you a little bit of a bump. And it has these green bubbles, which are just basically single vector launches that just send you in a straight line for a short period of time. And Sawa is going through this so fast that you're probably not going to be able to notice much of them at all.
のでそれを活用しています。そしてですね、斜めダッシュ、しゃがみダッシュをすると、このハイパーというものが出てきます。このようにですね。はい。はい。
It also introduces not. Oh, we could have backed that up, surely. So this room is famous for speedrunners trying very hard to destroy it. Because in the intended casual play, you're supposed to take this sort of auto-scroller block all the way to the edge of the room, the right edge of the room, to be a platform for Madeline to jump off of. There are some incredibly cursed strats that let you just skip the block altogether. Sawa opting there for safety, but for a version of them with what is known as an ultra, where you build up absurd amounts of horizontal momentum through repeated diagonal dashes in order to skip a large part of that auto-scroller. Winds up having to back it up, but still going for it at all with one hand is absurd.
This is one of the most like visually pleasing sections of the run when it's done by a really high-level speedrunner like Sawa, because the momentum is just so absurd, and the wind takes that absurd momentum and just like magnifies it. So these runs in particular of this chapter are very hypnotic to watch and really, really cool.
まあ、もう一回やります。そうですね。イベントでこの片手セレステなんとか。
Sawa going for some shenanigans
I'd say, yeah. Here's another case where you can see the game intends you to collect this coin in order to move the spiked block out of the way.
2回走らせていただいたのですが、その時でまず1回はまあ普通にやろうか。
We're over. I believe in this. I believe in the.
No, this is good. No, not. Now I think Sawa.
All right, we're collecting the coin. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Pour one out for second blockless.
This is all karma that Sawa is building up to do something absolutely mental, I'm sure, in later chapters.
This is all Sawa's going to demonstrate world's first one-handed 6B, and we're just gonna have to reaction content it.
I'm not ready.
We'll talk. We'll unpack that in a chapter or two here. But yeah, Late Ridge, more just sort of about exploring and exploiting the wind mechanics. This checkpoint is basically permanently in wind, and you also have these snowballs advancing at you. You can bounce off the top of the snowballs, but if you miss the top of the snowball, this kills the Madeline.
Yes, and those snowballs do have tracking for when you... when they spawn in, they track to your vertical position, so you can do some things to game the system and use those to your advantage, but in your casual playthrough, you're usually just really annoyed that they exist.
Speaking from experience, I'm sure.
Yes, for sure. Zaba will be beating this game one-handed faster than I got through this chapter two-handed my first time. And we're through Ridge.
はい。では、チャプター5に進んでいきましょう。鏡の
Alright, so in Chapter 5, Mirror Temple, we have to talk about sort of the main routing consideration. Celeste, of course, a level-based platformer, but by quirk from early in the game's development, each chapter has a remixed version of itself, the B-side, that you collect a cassette in the A-side in order to unlock. And early on in the game, in the game's history, it was discovered that if you beat the B-side of a chapter, the game unlocks the next chapter for you. Which was left in because the devs thought it was cool, and the speedrunning community appreciates that. So in any percent speedruns of this game, it is actually substantially faster to not beat Chapter 5A. Chapter 5 has a beautiful story. Wait, are we going for Dread Corner?
Yes, we...
Unreal.
Y'all, please pop off in chat. That was incredible. And also, I would like to remind you, that was one-handed.
Yeah, basically, the TLDR is you jump several times off of a block in motion, essentially, and then bunny hop to preserve a ton of momentum there. That is a strat that high-level speedrunners spend a long time on two-handed. That was beautiful.
That was so good. And we have our cassette. And so Saba will be quitting back out to the menu where the cassette will pop up, and then we will switch over and start the B-side with a lot of people's favorite song in the game. And I'm one of them. This is my favorite song. The B-side remix is my favorite song in the entire game, which is nice because this gameplay is really cool.
Yeah, so right away you can see there's a lot less floor in the B-sides and just a lot tighter platforming in general. But let's talk about the reason why 5B is so much faster than 5A, which is that you can skip an entire giant section of it. So that is a technique. Yeah, first try.
Drop.
Yeah, that's a technique called Bubs Drop, where basically the game doesn't think you should enter that room that Sawa took the intentional death in from that transition, because there's supposed to be like a platform there that stops you from going backwards into it. So when you cheese it and then hit retry, the game moves you to your nearest respawn point, which is the end of the room. It cuts out like an entire section, and there that spike jump casually cuts out another entire section, and between that it adds up to 5B being substantially faster than 5A for any percent speedruns.
I'd like to clarify, if you are playing this casually, please play 5A. It's very good. It's just not as fast. Alright, we are now into the other side of the Mirror Temple, which means that we get to start playing with Seekers.
Any Seekos in the chat?
Any Seekos in chat. Seekers will, as you might expect, target and come flying after Madeline. Madeline can pop off them for a boost. And Seekers can also destroy these red walls. Or you can just use them to just skip the red walls entirely like that.
And, you know, nominally, Seekers are consistent in that if you do the exact same inputs every time, the Seekers will behave for you. But realistically, they can be a bit of a nightmare to wrangle, especially as things go wrong. And speaking of things going wrong, probably the highest difference between casual players' impression of a mechanic and speedrunners' impression of a mechanic has gotta be this crystally boy. This is Theo. Casually, Theo sucks, because if Theo falls off a cliff, it counts as a death for Madeline. For speedruns, Theo is beautiful, because there are like 800 additional momentum shenanigans you can do with Theo by dashing into Theo and then grabbing him to preserve your momentum in a variety of entertaining ways.
Yeah, you have to take Theo with you. And in the B-side, Theo is much more required to get through things. But here we're in the last room because you can see these blue and pink cycle blocks. And look at that.
3 minute 5B.
3:02. And again, some of you forgot that this was a one-handed run.
Sawa, pet the spiel. Underscore it for us, please.
もう一人の自分進めていきましょう。もう一人の自分実は英語だとチャプター名が違いまして。
All right, we are entering 6A, which we were joking earlier about 6B. We'll see if it happens, but
I can't imagine it.
I can't imagine it will either. Here in Chapter 6, we have these golden feathers, which give you a 360-degree flight. If you're wondering how can Sawa do 360-degree flight with effectively WASD, it's because Sawa's just that good.
And Lake Skip, let's go.
Remember what I said about Sawa just being that good?
Just being that good, extremely clean. You have like a teeny tiny window to input a jump off of the bottom corner of that spike-laden wall there to skip going around in that room. Getting it cleanly first try, absolutely beautiful. Or second try.
It doesn't. If it's second try, it's just as impressive.
Yeah.
Honestly.
All right. So going to the right here means that we are going to be seeing Chapter 6A, which, to be clear, makes perfect sense. It is technically faster at the extreme top level to get the cassette and go into 6B. It saves a vanishingly small amount of time in exchange for making the run brutally more difficult. Because in addition to just being a substantially harder chapter, rooms in 6B get extremely long. You have 20 to 30 second long rooms that if you take a death at the end of it, you've already lost all of the time save you would have by taking 6B as a route. So it's not recommended to people unless your time is already underneath 30 minutes and you are pushing for world record paces.
Wow. Speaking of Frost Fatale's callouts, the Valiant Sun in chat letting us know that the winning file name for this was right leg or right foot.
Perfect. Shoutouts to the friend Fatale.
You've seen a couple of the mechanics here in Chapter 6. These blue blocks, which are lovingly referred to as Kevin blocks, that you can dash into, and they will basically turn into thwomps in that direction. We also have bumpers, which are basically what it says on the tin. And again, we've got these golden feathers. So there is one more mechanic coming up here, but we got to get to her. We're going to see our friend Battlein again here in just a little bit.
And bumpers also nominally consistent, but you may have seen some of them, they wiggle back and forth while otherwise stationary, which can lead to a lot of heartbreak. Again, not speaking from personal experience.
No, of course not.
Why do the bumpers have to breathe? That's all I'm saying.
They deserve the right to live as much as any of us do, except they usually end up taking it from us when we run into them.
でここから大技です。ぜひご注目ください。この子にいるケビンがですね。
As the menacing hair-like tendrils would imply, we are coming up on an encounter with Battlein.
早い。うまいな。
And here she is.
今何をしたかと言いますと、ハイパーダッシュですね。斜め下
So
と。
this is an extended, this is just an extended boss fight. Madeline will be firing all sorts of projectiles, and Sawa will just be trying to dash into Battlein as many times as possible.
まあ何言ってるんだって方も多いと思いますが、こういう感じです。
And in all these cases, we need to herd Battlein all the way to the far edge of the room because the exit is sealed until Battlein actually breaks through it.
ぜひストーリーをご覧ください。なんとも言います。
Again, the story of this game cannot be, if you've never played it, I cannot emphasize how good and how powerful the story of this game is, and specifically the story of this chapter. which we are absolutely just blowing through because we're speedrunning. But if you've never played this casually, I can't recommend enough that you go play this as soon as you can. It is that good, I promise you.
で今度は下に向かっていきま
It
す。
has absolutely earned its keep as an indie darling, both to casual players and speedrunners alike.
OK
Anyway, Battlin's got lasers
こ
now.
のチャプター6を
Of course.
やる方が早いらしいのですが、自分の
And it's still not powerful enough.
まして片手の時はねできないので、そうです。このどんどんね忘れた頃に片手って言っていきますので、はい。で降りていきます。ほい。早い段階でダッシュを使って、
Casually, this fight wrecked me.
あるですね。セレステ RTA
Absolutely wrecked me, both mentally and emotionally.
で
This is the point where I am mad curious. I'm going to check. So Sawa's PB overall for two-handed Celeste is 34 minutes and 6 seconds. Sawa's one-handed PB is a 34:41. I don't know if like English Restream commentary is even capable of cursing. But I'm gonna call the shot right now. I think this has a good shot at PBing.
This has a
I don't
very
know how
good shot.
I don't know how good Sawa's one-handed summit is, but being late into the 6A battle and chase at 24, I want to believe.
I have seen Sawa do unbelievable things with two hands, let alone one hand. So if there is a gamer on this planet that I will believe in, it is Sawa Yoshi.
1ダッシュには飽きてきた頃でしょう。というわけでレベルアップ、ダッシュを2回使えるようになりました。
All right, we have leveled up, which means we have a second dash now, which we will take with us into the next and final chapter, Summit, once we do this climb and get to it.
というわけでここで着地してチャプター終了です。チャプター6もう一度の自分クリアでございます。そしてこの
25 minutes leaving
この
reflection.
次のはい
Unreal.
次のチャプター
Absolutely unreal.
ラストになります。皆さん、短い間でしたが最後まで応援
All right, final
というわ
chapter.
けでここからはいただき
Reach for the summit.
いきましょう。
You gonna be okay listening to this?
I am. I'm emotionally prepared myself for this. The chapter is essentially a run back of everything. We start in a chapter 6 feel because of story reasons, but after that we're going to go back through every other chapter sequentially, starting back at chapter 1 and see a repeat of those mechanics. It's a fun gauntlet, and then at the very end, at the peak of the mountain, throw some other mechanics at us just to close out this run.
So we are at the 500 meter mark, which is Forsaken City. And it's, yeah, this is the last chapter. This is also, for this run, by far the longest one. It is a real run back. These are not full-length chapters by any means, but they are not small. Like these rooms are of substance, and they have some really cool mechanics of their own that kind of expand on both what you played in that original chapter and also playing into the fact that we have a double dash now.
でこのバデリンが見えたってことは
And at the end of each of these sections, you need to, because Battlein is our friend now, again, play the game, experience the story. We're reducing it a lot, but essentially you need to hit Battlein orbs for a lift in each of the final rooms of the checkpoint.
So we're back at Old Site, so we have Dream Blocks back, and Sawa cutting that very close, goodness.
Never any doubt.
Never a doubt.
横から出るとき、ドリームブロックから出るときですね、ダッシュして、特に、しゃがみダッシュをして、その同じ
You
タイ
do
ミング
get
で
your dash back when you dash into a dream block, so there are some real fun shenanigans you can do lining these up and making. It's just really fun to play. It's really fun to speedrun. It's really fun to play because you go very fast and you still have a lot of control, even though you're going with so much momentum.
Yeah, and I will say on most of those dream blocks, Sala is performing a tech called a dream hyper, where essentially they are dashing right out of the dream block. So the input density for something that is being played on one hand is a little bit absurd.
Just a little bit. And we're back here in Resort, which means we get to deal with cycles and dust.
That room, that room with the single coin is the worst room in this entire game. Ignore how little time Sala spent there. That room is miserable.
Yeah, that room is not fun, and Sawa is just making this look much easier than we would have if we were playing this with two hands, which, again, you have all probably forgotten that this is a one-handed run.
Spiel is there to remind you.
英語のリストリームというものがあります。ジャパニーズリストリームという方は聞いたことある方もいるかもしれないですが、今回英語で再配信されております。ぜひね。
This room also destroyed me.
そちらにも誘導
And we're out.
Clean.
Hey everyone, if you want to watch this event in English, we have an English restream. You should go.
All right, we're back in Ridge.
Thank you, Sawa. We love you, Sawa.
We love you, Sawa.
遅れて申し訳ないのですが、アメリカ人です。
Sawa, of course, also the organizer, one of the organizers for the English Restream channel. It's an honor and a pleasure to be able to come for them.
今回ですね、アメリカからお送りしてい
Y'all,
ます。
Sawa does so much, not just as a gamer, but as an organizer and as a member of the community. We can't really go into as much detail as we want to about how awesome Sawa is. Just know that as good a gameplay as you're watching, they are just as good, if not better, a person than they are a gamer.
で、こうして、ほい、
But, okay, they're a pretty good gamer.
They're like pretty good at the video game. Again, Chapter 4 having auto-scroller blocks means that the game of the speedrun is how much can we ignore the auto-scroller blocks, because waiting around is slow. If you learn one thing from speedrunning platformers...
Yeah, any auto-scroller that you can skip is an auto-scroller that you must skip if you legally and morally can.
I don't know, some of these, like, second blockless is a little bit immoral, but we persevere anyways.
Listen, it's about making choices.
それに対応しながら登っていきます。はい。しゃがみダッシュを使ってそこを通り抜けて、はい。これで2000
Alright, on to
4の区間ですね。
Chapter 5 rehash 2500.
This might be my least favorite section in the entire game of Celeste to have played casually. This section of Summit is hard. There's just no way about it. It's just very hard to play for your casual run, and it is a very tight section to speedrun.
Yeah, and something we didn't even really get a chance to talk about during Chapter 5 because Soa breezed through it. These blocks are swap blocks. When you dash, they accelerate to the other end of their track and then slowly return. Because they move very quickly. That was what Sala did Death's Corner boost off of. You can do a lot of momentum preservation shenanigans with them.
That is a very hard thing that Sawa just did to do a pretty significant skip to get that key. And we're just making this look much easier than I set it up to be.
一昨日じゃないな。3日前に、3日前だっけ ?4 日前かも。
There we go.
練習してる時に、実はこのカテゴリー自己秒出してしまいました。
Oh no.
No, Sawa wants the.
Yeah,
there it is.
Where we're going, we don't believe in doors.
No, walls and doors to Sawa are things that only people that play the game two-handed have to deal with. Sawa's going to be over here petting Sphia while making doors and walls just impractical.
ほんと BBBB 更新ぐらいですね。なんですが。
All right, and on to the final challenge. So the peak of Celeste Mountain.
Shout it out if you know the words.
Yeah. Count them down, friends. Is split into a couple of different sections after this little initial climb. It's split into 3 segments.
ちょっとずつで数えていきましょう。
First, we've got Downwind. Downwind, the thing that it really asks of you is managing Madeline's climbing stamina very tightly. Speedrunners are able to cheese a lot of this through clever use of wall bounces and just generally how you are able to preserve your momentum. We're also going to be skipping some flags in case you've never seen any percent runs. So keep your count appropriate, chat. We believe in you.
We do believe in you. We will be skipping flags pretty much throughout this final climb, including potentially a very big skip of a flag near the end of this climb.
I don't know if Sal's going for it. We'll see.
I believe. Alright, we are now in upwind, which means that your jumps are boosted by this upblowing wind, which you would think would necessarily be easier, but isn't as easy as you might think, because having a floatier jump in a game that is as much about control and momentum as Celeste is not always the boon that you might think it is. So this is still a very tricky section.
Wait, BD, what's upwind?
Quack.
No? Really? Really? No? Okay. I understand. I'm sorry for asking.
I wasn't prepared for this, Quack.
11 EX ハイパー使ってダッシュを持ち越して
This is
進みました。で10
Yo,
は
I mean,
ダッ
for
シュを
one
ブロックすれば大丈夫。
casual.
はいで9。おっと
Casual flag 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, get black 9.
Almost went for it.
うまく登っていきます。で8も飛ばして7。
Alright.
ここまで来たらもう
Single
本当に
digits,
終了
y'all.
です。バッテリーに投げてもらいます。で
Alright, and now the third section.
金を使って登っていく。
Yeah, after this brief interstitial, I guess, with the feather, I think PV is dead, but it'll be, and this is a absurd marathon run. No whinge. Now it's just you versus the mountain.
よろしくお願いいたします。3。
It's worth noting Sala's most recent PB before this was a PB by 0.1 seconds, so if they PB, okay, that killed it. Never mind. Comms curse.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, English Restream chat. That one's on me.
No, I think this is it's a testament to just how good the time is that we're talking about PBing by a matter of tenths of seconds in a 30 plus minute run. Also, we're coming up on it. Time will be when Sawa skips the last cutscene here in just a second. One last little fling into the spikes for good measure.
Gotta assert your dominance over the mountain.
Absolutely.
といったところでタイムストップです。GG。
39 RTA.
というわけで
3520.
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
ご視聴ありがとうございました。
Wow. Pet that Spheal. Goodness.
お別れをしましょう。皆さん本日楽しんでいただけましたでしょうか。ご視聴ありがとうございました。
That was a
こういうね
great
ちょっと面白みのあ
run.
る
Wow.
面白みの多いね、普通とはちょっと違った。
It is an honor to be able to watch Sawa do this, and to be able to commentate for it is an even bigger honor. So I want to say, first off, thank you, English Restream, for doing this. Thank you, Sawa, for being part of putting it together. And wow, yeah.
Yeah, could have said it better myself. Thanks, Mans, for hosting for us. Thank you so much to Sawa and Juho and the rest of the English Restream team.
And BD for commentating over there. Hi.
No, you, Sawa.
Hi,
Stop
Sawa.
being nice to us. Yeah, I think that's it from us. Thank you so much.
No shout outs or anything?
20時から 山の日にちなんで
Shout outs to the Frame Fatales. You'll be able to see, I think, all 4 of the relevant personalities. I'll be there, BD and Mans will be hosting, Sawa will be involved in a couple different disciplines.
2D リアクションはじめいろんな作品を形だったりローテだったりで RTA しています。
And just a general shout out to the Celeste community, vanilla speedrunners, map makers, modders. It's a wonderful community full of a whole bunch of amazing people, and I can't recommend that you play Celeste. Both custom, vanilla, speedrun it. It's just a wonderful game, and I highly recommend it.
ご覧ください。というわけで次のランはときめきメモリアル
Well,
ガールズ
thank
サイド
you
フォー
both
スハー
for
ド
being here,
さんの
being such
RTA
great
です。
commentary for this
熱中症には
amazing
気をつけて
run.
片手セレステ
And
そうさんサヨシでした
we have some great runs coming up next, so everyone please stay tuned. I have been your host, Menace Mans, and I am also signing off. And I will be handing you over to another great host who will be taking care of you for the next few runs. I will be back in about 12 hours. So everyone sit back, relax, and we will be right back shortly.